Hello everyone, happy Monday. It's actually 1:30. I just laid Presley down for his nap, and we are going to start a reading vlog for the Choose Your Own Adventure Readathon. I was hoping to get started earlier today, and it just has not happened, but the Choose Your Own Adventure Readathon is my readathon. It is something that I've been working on for months. I was actually looking back at it, I think when I did the announcement video for this, and was like, oh, it's been like a couple months, 2-3 months, something like that. I reserved the username on Twitter for this readathon in like April, and I thought about doing this before that even. So it's been in the process for a while, and I completely forgot how long I've been working on it. But it is a choose your own adventure style readathon. This time the theme is Star Trek because that is a fandom that I absolutely love, especially like the original series, which is what I'm basing it off of. And I figured that would be an easy thing to do as a choose your own adventure type of story. So basically what we have going on is a choose your own adventure story, which I have here on my iPad currently. It's on a website that I went through and did. The story, like everything put together, there's so many different options and ways for it to go, and it totals over 15,000 words. Some of the words are repeated depending on like the things that you choose, but yeah, I spent a lot of time doing this. And so in order to complete the readathon, you go through the actual like website, the story, and you make decisions. Each decision about like what you're doing comes with a prompt. So we have division prompts, we have crew prompts, and we have an alien prompt. You only need to do those 3 prompts in order to complete the readathon. However, it is possible to get good endings, bad endings, and special endings, just depending on the things that you choose. And so, yeah, I think what we'll be doing for this vlog is obviously reading through my current path of the story and sort of maybe giving you some like backstory and stuff on certain things, or like why I chose certain things or how things work. And because there are so many different options to choose from, and it is choose your own adventure, there are over 343 different like paths you could take, like different combinations of prompts, and there are 21 endings. So yeah, let me turn on the screen recording for this here so you guys can see it a little bit better, and we will start with the first prompt, so starting at the beginning and going through. Okay, so it says choose your own Star Trek adventure readathon by me, obviously, and we just start off at the very beginning. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. And at the very beginning, the first option that we can choose, the only option we have here, is how does this readathon work? I am going to be leaving this readathon, this website, up after the readathon is actually over, in case people want to do this again later, like different options, or if people don't actually find it currently but they want to try it out. So we go over rules basically first. It's a choose your own adventure based on like the books. For the most authentic experience, you will not get your prompts until you make a choice. You should also not move forward until you have completed the prompt. So for today, for Monday, we're going to get our prompt, but I'm not going to continue again until we finish reading the book. However, if you wish to cheat, you can get a copy of the prompts ahead of time to plan your reading/adventure. Doing so will incur a penalty that can have consequences on your story's outcome. Do you want to see the cheat sheet? Now, because this is my readathon and I know what all the prompts are, I'm going to say that I'm going to cheat. I'm not actually going to show you guys the cheat sheet or anything here, in case you want to do this later or whatever it is. But in order to make this more fair in my eyes, I do feel like I want the penalty. I know what the penalty is. I know what everything, basically. I did this all by myself. But I'm going to say I'm going to cheat, so I'm going to say yes, there will be a penalty, but you can make a copy of the Google Doc for your records, and there is a link to the cheat sheet in case you want it to like plan everything out. But I'm not actually going to look at it. I'm going to play this like I would normally, like if I was going to actually do this for real. That's how I'm going to play it. So we're going to just skip on to the rules. So over the rules, in order to complete the readathon, you only need to complete 3 prompts, 1 division prompt, 1 crew member prompt, and 1 alien prompt. Doing this will not necessarily mean that you get a good ending. Again, like I told you before, 343 combinations and 21 endings, but you just have to finish 3 prompts. There's also the announcement video and the Discord where we're talking about stuff there in case you want it. and there's no backtracking during the story. As you can see here, there is no way to go back unless you hit the start again button at the very top of the screen, and that literally takes you to the very beginning. However, when you make a choice of what prompt you're going to be doing, stop there. Your cookies and everything should save where you are on this website, and then you can go back to it. So yeah, no backtracking. You can combine prompts though. So if you have already read a book for your first prompt that also completes your second prompt, you don't have to read another book, but you can if you want. Again, because it's a week-long readathon and I'm, usually pretty quick about reading in general, I'm most likely going to be doing one book per prompt, but we'll see. Again, partially because I know what the prompts are, I could easily pick one book that fits 3 different prompts and just be done, but I would like to do like one each, as long as I can. And then there are prizes. If you're watching this video though, it's past the time for prizes. Sorry about that. But if you did do the readathon during the normal time, there were prizes up for grabs. And now we are officially on to the actual storyline. So it says, the day has finally arrived. You have just graduated Starfleet Academy as an ensign after 4 years of training. You have always yearned to explore space and live amongst the stars, and now that dream is becoming a reality. Soon you're going to be assigned to a ship. First, can you tell me which division you will be joining? And we have 7 divisions here. We have Command, Science, Medical, Navigation, Communication, Operations, and Security. I'm going to click through these just so you guys can sort of see what they say. But I probably won't be doing this for everything because, again, I know what they are. But so, like, for example, Command, it says individuals who join the Command branch will lead others. Many will also go on to be the captain of a starship. Do you want to join the Command branch? I'm not going to pick Command, so we're gonna say no. I would like to go back and pick a different one. Am I really gonna go through all of these? No, probably not. I'll do another one for you. Let's choose Communication. Individuals who join the Communication branch must be able to speak and understand multiple languages, including xenolinguistics. Do you wish to join the Communication branch? And then again, you can say no. Once you say yes, that is your prompt though. So me personally, if I was really going to be doing anything like this, like actual Star Trek stuff, going out and doing this, I would pick Science or Medical, like 100%. I'm leaning towards Science. I already know that there's been a couple people that have picked Science just based on prompts that they've talked about in our Discord, because I know what the prompts are. We're trying to keep it as spoiler free as possible. But yeah, I really do think if I was going to pick anything, that's what I'm going to pick. So we're gonna go to Science, and it says individuals who join the Science branch get to experience and research the flora and fauna of far-off worlds. Do you want to join the Science branch? And so because that's what we are going to do, I'm going to say yes, get prompt, and it is to read a science fiction. Now at the bottom of the screen it does say once your book is finished, report to the ship. You do not want to hit that until you have finished your book. So that's where we're going to end the screen recording here. And that means I now need to find a science fiction book to read. I actually do have quite a few different ones. You can pick anything. I know one of the people is going to do a like graphic novel that's science fiction for the person that got that prompt, because they don't usually just read science fiction books, but they have a graphic novel that is science fiction based and they want to do that. Perfectly fine. You can do manga, you can do like anything like that. But I think what I'm going to do is leave you here so that I can actually figure out which science fiction book I'm going to read, and then I will come back. Okay, we are in the office right now because it's actually like almost 5. I know, time got away from me. Presley went down for his nap. I talked to you guys. I came in here to edit a video for tomorrow, and then Presley still does this thing sometimes where he needs to sleep on me for a little bit longer, and so I was trapped under him for like another hour or so. But I did decide that I'm going to go with Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon for my sci-fi prompt. This is the second book in the Ice Planet Barbarians series, and I did listen to the first one on audiobook last month and actually really enjoyed myself, 4 out of 5 stars, and so I really wanted to continue. That's why I have a physical copy, although I do know that the audiobooks are through my library on Hoopla, so I might do that as well. We'll see. But also, it's not too long. I think this physical copy is like just at 200 pages, whereas I don't know about the ebook or the audio version, how long that would take. I could probably look that up. But yeah, I figured this will be a good one because it's a continuation of a series that I definitely want to read, but it's also going to be like sci-fi romance, and so I'm very happy with that. Should hopefully be pretty quick. I think I finished the first one in just a little under 2 days, so I could do that with this one very easily as well. But I think we're going to be trying to get out of the house to take Presley out. He's been cooped up in the house recently. We try to get him out every weekend if possible, just to go somewhere. It doesn't even have to be really with anybody there. But I was busy this last weekend finishing up things for this readathon. So we didn't really do too much like Saturday or Sunday, and so I think we might go to a little like aquatic center near us that's not usually too crazy, and we'll, you know, probably do that. And then we'll probably pick up dinner. And then I probably won't read until Presley goes to bed. I'm usually good about reading in bed at night, but I want to say in the last month or two, I've been bad about it. So I need to get back onto that because that's usually where I get a lot of my reading done. But yeah, I think that's my update for now. I've picked a book finally, and I will see you guys later. Are you eating breakfast? Good job. Yummy blueberries. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I did not read anything yesterday. I know, very bad for my own readathon. However, my plan today is to hopefully start and finish the Ice Planet Barbarian. No, that's not right. Start and finish Barbarian Alien, which is the second book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I have the physical copy. I also got the audiobook from my library on the Hoopla app, because I actually listened to the audiobook for the first one anyway. But yeah, something I said yesterday, I think, was that I usually like to read in bed at night. And I do, but I haven't been reading it lately in bed, and I didn't know why. I now know why. For the last like month or two, actually, Presley's been going to bed between 8:30 and 9:30 at night, and then by the time he is actually asleep, it's almost time for me to go to bed. And so wanting to read just doesn't happen as much. I almost always end up just playing like a little like phone game on my phone for like 30 minutes or whatever before I go to bed. We used to try and put him down at like the normal time you put kids down, at like 7 something or whatever it is, and then it became summer in Arizona and the sun doesn't go down at that time, and like I know I can't sleep unless it's pitch dark, and neither can he. He needs it to be pitch dark in our bedroom, and he sleeps with us, so we've been pushing his bedtime back later, and we're okay with that because of the fact that he doesn't wake up until like 7:38 in the morning, and so, you know, it just works out fine. But that does mean I haven't been doing as much reading in bed at night before I fall asleep, because I'm not stuck in bed at like 7 o'clock with a kid in bed with me waiting to go to bed at like 10 or 11. Like that was hours where I could just sit and read. I don't do that anymore. He falls asleep at like 9:30. Sometimes later, depending on how easily he goes to bed. However, that is one thing. I do think he falls asleep easier with a later bedtime than he was doing before. But yeah, so I was thinking about that last night and this morning. We finally got him into bed, and I was like, I'm tired. Like, I fell asleep within an hour after he went to bed. And so it was just, yeah, one of those things where I don't think I'm reading in bed as much anymore. Can you hear him banging his bowl on the counter? His blueberries are gone. He asked for blueberries this morning. So, but yeah, I haven't read anything because I just don't read in bed at night anymore. And somehow I did not think of that earlier. But yeah, I'm going to be reading today. I do have on a Star Trek shirt. It is yellow, which being a redhead, this is not my color. I avoid any sort of like warm tones, basically. Yellows, oranges, reds, I don't feel like fit my skin tone and hair color very well, but it is Star Trek. I got this from a Star Trek Loot Crate box, which they eventually like messed all up a few years ago, but it's Star Trek, so we're wearing it. Okay, so it is just past lunchtime. I've laid Presley down for a nap, and I have already finished about 81 pages of Barbarian Lover. So far, I am really enjoying it. I actually really enjoyed the first one as well, which is why I'm reading this one, and I'm actually reading the physical version. I was going to possibly do the audiobook, but it was just easier to pull this one out this morning, and yeah, I like reading it the way it is. This one is more of almost like an enemies to lovers, not really. They don't really like each other at first, and we are slowly getting into trying to figure out feelings, because our alien guy does really like our main character in the fact that like they have this like symbiotic parasite thing living in their chest that tells them if they can mate with somebody or not, and that's just like part of his culture. He knows that that's how things work, and so he has accepted it. However, for our main human girl, she has not accepted it yet. It happened at the very beginning of the book, that kind of thing, and so she is definitely fighting things. And so while she's not really having full-on feelings yet, she's definitely having lusty feelings. They've had some sexy things going on that are very well written, and I do like the fact that our main alien guy in this one knows that he is feeling things for her that she is not necessarily feeling or is not willing to feel for him yet, and he's not trying to push anything on her. I know this is like a clash of cultures, it's a sci-fi romance, so not everything is going to be by human standards, but the fact that he is willing to like wait and do stuff like that, like I'm just like, this guy. He's apparently supposed to be more of like an alpha male than the guy in the first book, but the fact that he's being so considerate as well, even though he does do some things that are definitely like alpha male territory, I'm just really liking that. So yeah, I'm about 1/3 of the way through this so far. I do want to try and film my video for Thursday while Presley's napping, just because it'll be easy enough to do, although we're right next to like a school, and I feel like a leaf blower has been blowing around, so we might have background noise. I don't really care too much, but I am planning on reading more of this today as well. I'm actually hoping to finish it today sometime, because the first 80 pages only took me maybe like an hour, so it is definitely doable. And yeah, I guess that's my update for now, since I can't really get into the story more until I finish this book, but I am liking it. It feels like it's going by pretty quickly, even though I've only read like 80 pages, but it's because like the book is quite tall, so the there's a lot of words per page. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, haven't read anything else yet, but it's about 4:30, and I'm in charge of dinner tonight, and I'm going to be doing like a homemade, like from scratch, except for the pie crust, chicken pot pie. I've done this once before. It was a lot of food, but it was really, really good. So I'm gonna be starting with like my vegetables, cutting, you know, peeling the potato, cutting the potato, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so enjoy some B-roll footage. Okay, happy Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I did not talk to you guys at all yesterday after I made dinner. Do you want to come here? Oh. I think Presley thinks this is an unboxing video because he wants to show you things that are on this table over here. Our coffee table is over here where I usually film, just because it's too big and in the way in the living room. with him. But yeah, as I was saying before, he wanted to come over here and join us. I don't think I filled you guys in at all yesterday after I started making dinner, that kind of stuff. So I actually did listen to the audiobook of this while I was cooking dinner. I got through another almost 80 pages. And then I only had like an hour left of the book according to my Bookly app, and I did actually just bring this to bed and finish reading it physically. And I think I like this one better than the first one. I still really love the characters in the first one. There was just a like non-consensual scene that gave me like the squickies in the first book that I just did not think we needed. I understand we have aliens and humans and it's not going to be the same as like conventions here, but the actual like way it went about it I wasn't too happy with. This one does not have that at all. I think I mentioned a little bit yesterday that our main character, main guy character of Rahash is actually very, very like good about like the consent part of it, because Liz, our main female character, does not want to be with him at the beginning, and so they're fighting, not necessarily attraction, because the symbiotic alien inside them is what is sort of causing the lustful feelings, but they do start to have actual romantic feelings, and there's some angst in here. I just really, really loved the dynamic that they had, so I do think I liked this one a little bit better. I think I'm giving it like, I don't necessarily want to say a full 5 stars. I think it might be closer to 4.5, but on Goodreads it'll show up as a 5 stars because I just really, really liked the dynamic of this. I'm a sucker for sci-fi, I'm a sucker for romance, and while this is also very, very hot and heavy at parts, and I'm not necessarily the most like I need sex scenes in my book, they were really well done, especially because they're trying to like figure out what each other likes and that kind of stuff, because they have different, you know, different parts. The females of their species doesn't look like the females of our species and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. That means I did actually finish this in one day as well. I was a little bit worried because I did not read anything on Monday that this was going to be something I needed to finish today, but I finished it last night. I'm very, very excited about it. And so that's my first read done. This was for the science division prompt to read a sci-fi. And so now that means we can pull up the story again and continue. So let me grab that. Okay, and so now we are back on our story, and as we can see here, we read our science fiction book and we are good to go. So once your book is finished, report to the ship. Today is your first day on a starship, and you're being assigned to the best in the fleet, the USS Enterprise. As you pull on your blue shirt, you feel excited to be joining this illustrious crew. By 0900 hours, you're at your station. Your supervisor, a lieutenant, walks you through today's tasks when a page comes through. Answer page. It's from the bridge. The Enterprise is currently in orbit around a Class M planet. The captain is putting together a ground crew for an away mission, and you're going to be joining it. Who, me? Don't worry, in order to make you feel more comfortable going down to a mysterious planet on your first day, you can pick someone to join the team with you. You can choose from any of the senior officers aboard the ship. Each of them come with their own talents, so choose wisely. Who would you like to join your away team? And so obviously we have the main 7 characters from the original series of Star Trek: Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, Uhura, Sulu, and Chekhov. So, I think we're going to be trying to play this like if I was actually going to be joining Starfleet and that kind of stuff. So that's the reason that we picked the science division earlier, is I do think that would be my thing. So Mr. Spock has always been like my favorite character, so I really feel like that might be something we want to do. Let's see. So Spock. Although Mr. Spock appears fully Vulcan, he is actually half human as well. His father Sarek is Vulcan, while his mother Amanda Grayson is human. Outwardly, Spock is calm and logical. He sometimes appears to not have human emotions, much to the chagrin of Dr. McCoy, but he is uniquely qualified to see the universe from differing points of view. Do you want Mr. Spock to join your away team? The thing is, I know what the prompts are, and I do feel like this one, for me, is one of those ones that I'm not too sure, like, what books I even have with that prompt. But, although this is a prompt that, like, I necessarily wouldn't go for if I was like picking based on prompts. Since I'm currently picking based on character, I do think I want Spock on my team. So we're gonna say yes, get prompt, read a book with multiple points of view. Yeah, I'm hoping as you guys are seeing this vlog, or if you participated in this readathon, you see that I tried to leave hints in the descriptions for the division, for the crew members, and then eventually for the aliens that give you hints of what the prompt could be. So we need to find a book with multiple points of view. And like I said, I'm not entirely sure what I have with multiple points of view specifically. So I'm definitely gonna have to look through my books. I mean, technically this one does have multiple points of view. We get to see from Rahash, we get to see from Liz, and in this readathon you do not have to do separate books. This technically could fit for this prompt as well, and I could say I'm done with it, let's go to something else. However, I do want to try to do one book per prompt, so I'm gonna find a different book with multiple points of view. I'm sure the third book in this series also has multiple points of view, and it would be short enough to read, and it has an audiobook, and we have Presley's speech appointment today, which means I do want an audiobook for the car if possible. But I don't know if I necessarily want to continue just reading these books for this readathon. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to go figure this out and then come back to you and let you know what I have chosen, because I'm gonna have to go look through like my TBR and just sort of flip through the books that I want to read and see if we have multiple points of view. Okay, I'm back. So I did have to take a little bit of time to like go in the office where I have my actual like TBR shelves and look through quite a few books, and I ended up going between two of them. One of them was, oh goodness, I think it's part of the Borden Files. I'll put up the picture up here. It's by Sherry Priest. Oh, Maplecroft. That's the one. But I was going to pick this one, and I was still looking through things with points of view, and I realized like that one specifically was over 400 pages, and I just don't think that's necessarily the best one for a readathon, so I found another one. I'm going to be reading One of the Good Ones by Maika and Maritza Mulit. This one I actually picked up, I think it came out in January, and I picked it up pretty new, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm very, very excited to. One thing I forgot to double check is if it has an audiobook. I did actually just double check like right before I sat down to film this, and it does have an audiobook through Hoopla, so like my library app, and that's great because I do have to go out and take him to his speech lesson today, and I want an audiobook. So that is perfect. This one is like 300 and something pages, so not too crazy, like 330-ish, and this one follows a group of sisters where apparently one of them has been killed, and it looks like it's sort of going to be people are playing her off as a martyr because of like police brutality, protesting police, that kind of stuff, but there's more to it. So I don't know what all we're getting into, but I do know just from looking at like the chapter headers, some of the chapters are from Happy, which is one of the sisters, some of the chapters are from Kezzy, some are from Evelyn. I actually don't know which is the sister that died. It's not Kezzy. Kezzy is the one that has been killed. I looked at the summary. That should help. But I feel like this is going to be a very interesting one. I've heard it's really, really good. I think there's going to be a twist. It's some sort of like, almost like a mystery thriller type of thing. But yeah, I remember when this one like first came out, the summary just gave me chills because of it, and I'm very, very excited. I also do have my Spock bookmark because that's the whole reason we're reading a book with multiple points of view, and that's what we're going to be doing. I'm probably going to start this soonish, hopefully. We'll see. I might not actually get to start it until I take him to his speech, because that'll be like right after lunch. But yeah, that is it. This is my pick. That is what we will be reading. Okay, so I'm about 120 something, almost 130 pages into One of the Good Ones now. I actually ended up listening to the audiobook in the car on the way to and from Presley's speech appointment, which I talked about a little bit earlier. He did so well today. He was talking a lot of the words that he knows to his speech therapist, and just, you know, they go and they play with little toys and stuff, and today is the first time he's said the equivalent of blue, like the color. So that was, you know, always good to see. He's trying new things with people that aren't just me. But yeah, so I listened to it on the way there and on the way back. It actually was like raining as soon as I got to his speech appointment. Like, it started pouring. It wasn't too bad when I left there, but it did start raining again on the drive home, and I live in Arizona, so because of that, a lot of the traffic was going quite slow. Not like horribly, but my drive home took about twice as long as normal, which means I did actually listen to, I want to say, a little bit over an hour of the audiobook, which is why I'm at the part where I am, because I want to say I read about 40 pages before I left for his appointment, and then I listened to like 80 something pages, and it's pretty good so far. Writing style's interesting. There's a lot more points of view than I thought. Like, I was just sort of flipping through to make sure that this book had points of view for my prompt, which it does, and we've so far had Happy, who is the main character in like the current timeline. We've had her sister Kezzy, who is the one that has passed away. We've had a couple like flashbacks to the way past. I don't actually remember off the top of my head like what year and stuff they were, but I think it was their grandmother, I believe it is, or their great-grandmother. And then we've also had the point of view of one other person who I think went to like an audition for a TV show that Happy also went to at one point. So we've had 4 different, I believe they're all black women, as our points of view. And I want to say it's okay so far, because I do feel like we're going to be getting more later. There are some, not necessarily mystery aspects, but mysterious things where like I don't know everything about it yet. We don't know everything surrounding Kezzy's death. We don't know everything surrounding like her activism, and she also had like a YouTube channel that she did some stuff, and we're slowly piecing things together, and so I am curious, like, what is it going to be? But the things that I've heard about this in general is like there's some sort of revelation or twist later on, and I don't know anything else about it yet. But overall, so far so good. I really do like the narrators. I believe it's more than one narrator, but my Hoopla app only talks about one. Like, it's only listed as under one narrator. But the voices at least are very distinct for each woman, which is great. So yeah, I'll probably be reading more of this later. As you can hear, Presley is playing with his drums. Nice, right? Yeah, we're the parents that bought our own 2-year-old a set of drums. Good job! Yeah, the bass drum! Okay, good morning and happy Friday. So I just made myself some coffee. We've actually been doing the Dalgona coffee thing since that was really popular, like over a year ago. It is just the best coffee I've ever had, and so I make a batch every couple days or whatever, and so that's what I have in the morning. But I did not film anything yesterday. I was very lazy with my reading, and I didn't even start reading again yesterday until I was putting Presley to bed. And so what I ended up doing was listening to more of the audiobook for one of the good ones. I got almost an hour done of that, and then I was tired, so I went to bed, but I'm currently about halfway through the book. I don't know exactly the page number, but it's like in the 180s, like the high 180s. And I don't really have anything else to update yet, because everything that I was thinking about before is still the way I'm feeling now. We are getting closer to like, the timeline's not like merging, because like it's not like the current one is getting closer to the past, but the past one is getting closer to like where things went down. And so yeah, but then we also have another girl in the semi-present, semi-past, and then we have, like I said, I think I said it was either the grandmother or the great-grandmother. It is the great-grandmother. It is the father's grandmother. We have a couple scenes with her as well in the like past. And so yeah, nothing has really changed yet. It is giving us some good context of, you know, racism and stuff in America, but the actual, like, events and stuff, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm hoping it comes together a little bit more because, like I said, I do think this is giving us a lot of good, like, here's what racism looks like in different time periods and currently with, like, police brutality and, like, that kind of stuff. But personally, I don't really like multiple timelines. I'm okay with multiple points of view, and I didn't realize this book had the multiple timelines. So I'm just feeling a little bit removed from some of that stuff, but otherwise, I'm really hoping to finish this book today because it's Friday and I still have one more book to do by this weekend. I am going to be doing reading sprints tomorrow, which are the first reading sprints I've ever done on my channel, so we'll see how those go. I have a couple friends that are going to show up and I think that'll be really, really fun. And then hopefully I'm actually on my, like, last book that I needed to do by tomorrow morning so that I can get a good chunk of that started during reading sprints. But we shall see. And so yeah, I probably will stop talking to you guys and might not come back unless I finish the book or something really interesting happens. Help? Help. Yeah, camera. Oh, good job. We're playing while I listen to the audiobook. We were playing with the car earlier and now we're doing puzzles. We've done one. He's okay at them. Not that great. I'm doing most of it. Do you need help? Help. Help. Okay, so I have now finished One of the Good Ones by Maika and Maritza Mulit. It is currently just past 4 p.m. I listened to the audiobook earlier, like I talked about. When I was playing with Presley, we did some puzzles, we did some cars, we did that kind of stuff, and then I just finished reading it physically. So I actually think I listened to most of this on audio, and I am torn. There is a twist in here. I knew I had heard something about a twist, and I, for one, did not see it coming. And once we got to that part, I really did like the way the story was going. And it's not necessarily that it was bad at the beginning, but it was definitely not my thing. Like, this is a very contemporary type of story. We have the multiple points of view with the multiple different timelines, and they don't seem to fully add up. They sort of add up near the end, but just the way that it was being told is not really my thing. The genre is not necessarily my thing. I don't like strict, just contemporary books. I did really like to talk about racism in here, especially with like how the authors were trying to bring in how it is different in the different time periods. There is also a lot of questioning about homophobia in here as well, because one of the main characters is in a sapphic relationship, but the parents in here and some of the relatives in here are very, very Christian in the fact that like they don't approve of that. And so lots of hard topics in here, lots of things that are good like to read about. Like, I do think this is important. And like I said, once the twist actually happened that I did not see coming, I really did like it more. I do think some of the motivations for certain characters, like one specifically, I didn't really understand it as much. And because we didn't really get the full motivation until near the end of the story, I just don't think it was maybe as developed. Although, you know, maybe it was just me, I don't know. But I did like things more than I didn't like them. So I think overall this is probably going to be a 3.5. I did give it a 4-star on Goodreads because I just round up all of my half-star ratings. And I do think this is one that people should read. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of people that really like this. It has a lot of American history, especially related to Black people in it, related to slavery in it. And so I do think it had some really important topics. It's just the actual like genre and way it was written, like the points of view and the timelines are things that I just know I don't personally like, but I really did like the fact that I didn't see the twist coming. And it's not even necessarily like a twist, but it's like a revelation that I did not see coming. And like, oh my gosh, like that part to the end was really, really good. But that is now my second book done on Friday afternoon for this readathon. Let's look at the story right now. Okay, so now we do have that book finished. So we left off saying read the book, and once your book is finished, we're gonna click here. So we're gonna click, scroll back up, and it says, would you like to add anyone else to your team? So this is a 1-week readathon. It is currently Friday afternoon, which means I only have the rest of today, Saturday and Sunday, to finish this. We still have an alien prompt to do, which obviously we're going to do, but do I want to add anybody else to my team? This is either yes, I want to read another book, or I guess read another prompt to pick another person to go with me, or I can say no, I would like to just continue on to the alien prompt. Now, because I cheated and because, you know, I made this readathon, I do know what the prompts are, and I was thinking about this because I don't want to pick anything that is going to take too long to read. But I feel like I might want to actually take somebody with me. And I debated, again, do I want to take somebody with me that I would probably want to take in the first place? I mean, obviously I like Star Trek so much. I would like to take all of the characters. But also, what prompts am I going to be able to complete? Because I want to do a separate book for each one. So, I did decide that I do want to read another one. Because, and I will explain all this, let's say yes. As you can see here, Spock is no longer an option because we already got Spock. And so I considered Captain Kirk because I do really like Captain Kirk and I know what the prompt is, and it's a prompt that I do like. I considered Scotty because, again, I like Scotty as a character. The prompt for Scotty, in my opinion, is a little bit harder for me than like what Kirk's would be, but the one that I think I'm going to go with is going to be Chekhov. I feel like not a lot of people would pick Chekhov, especially since he is a character that didn't show up until the second season. Not that everybody knows that, because a lot of people doing this readathon don't know Star Trek, but it is one of those things where I don't think I've seen anybody mention on the Discord that they have picked Chekhov. So I thought it would be an interesting one to do. So here is the information. It says Pavel Chekhov. Chekhov is the youngest member of the senior officers. He didn't join the Enterprise crew until the second year of its 5-year mission. He is quite smart as he is able to fill in multiple departments, including but not limited to science and engineering, but he is also prone to hot-headed actions and romantic attachments. Would you like Chekhov to join your away team? So I'm gonna say yes. So we're gonna end up having Spock and Chekhov, which is a very interesting type of thing to have, I think. And we're gonna say yes, get prompt. And this is to read a book from your most recent purchase or your newest acquisition. Now, I do have some NetGalley arcs, and I just got a couple of them recently that are manga. So this is part of the reason why I was like, you know what, I could really do Chekhov because I haven't purchased any books recently, and the most recent acquisition for me are going to be the e-versions of these manga. And so I have 2 different ones, but I think the one I'm going to go with is the Decagon House Murders Volume 1. This is by Yukito Ayatsuji and Hiro Kiyohara. I actually don't know. I think one is probably the author, one is probably the illustrator. I don't know for sure who is what. I will know more as I actually go into it. I don't even have anything really pulled up for this one. But it is a manga. It is something about murders. I don't know, but it sounded intriguing, which is why I decided that, yeah, I would like to review this one for NetGalley. Oh, it's based off the best-selling The Decagon House Murders novel by Yukito Ayetsuji. So it's probably story by that person and then manga by the other person. But yeah, I think we're gonna go with this one. I can definitely finish this manga in an hour at the most, probably. I mean, we'll give myself more time than that, but I can definitely finish it pretty quickly. I will finish it by tonight for sure, which then means I will then move on to my alien prompt, you know, after that. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go with. It's a manga. I should be able to read it pretty quickly. It actually just came out this week, but I didn't actually get approved for it from NetGalley until after the date it came out. This is from Kodansha, and they do sometimes put up manga galleys, or like the e-versions, the e-arcs of them, on NetGalley even after the like date it goes on sale, the publishing date. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go with, and I just got this a couple days ago. So I downloaded it. It'll be something that we're gonna do. I'm talking too much. Okay, the lighting is not the best in here because it's getting dark. Maybe if I actually move you over, that's a little bit better. So I have finished Decagon House Murders Volume 1. So far, that's the only volume listed on Goodreads anywhere, and it is actually based on a novel from the author. I think we mentioned that a little bit earlier, and I think I'm giving this first volume like 3.5, 4 stars. It's a hard rating to like fully tell because this is like a murder mystery and we don't know anything yet because it's going to be an ongoing series for I don't know how many volumes, but more than this first one. And it follows a group of college students who go to this island that has the Decagon house, and they're there for like a mystery writers retreat thing because they're in a like mystery club, like I think it's mystery books and mystery stories and that kind of stuff. And apparently on this island, like 6 months previously, there was a fire on a different house there, all owned from the same family. Like the island was owned by this like family. And there was a fire there, but there was also murders there that the fire was probably like hiding. And so it's starting to slowly be this thing where it seems like there's a connection to this mystery club, but like I said before, we don't have answers, like, at all. The end of this first volume is a cliffhanger because obviously that's how we're gonna do it to keep you wanting to be there, but also it is a mystery. It has some like murder-y things going on, and I definitely want to know more, but Goodreads doesn't even have listed like when the next one's coming out. So yeah, but yeah, like 3.5, 4 stars, like good starting, but I don't have any like good hard feelings for it yet. So yeah. But this does mean we're going to pull up our story again because I now need to pick an alien. So once you finish your book, which I did, click here. You want to pop him over? As long as he's clean enough? You clean? We just finished dinner, so baby's coming. Come on over. Hi. Oh, we don't have anything to do. Okay, usually I come over here to to do unboxings and stuff, and I do have some stuff over here still from unboxings, and he's using, show the camera, show the camera. No, a facial elixir, there we go, like a hammer, and he's boom, 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 boom. You guys might be able to hear him. Okay, we're gonna continue. So, I did finish my second crew member prompt, and then it does ask, would you like to add anyone else to your team? I'm going to say no. I do not think I'm going to be able to fit another crew member in here since I still need to do my alien prompt, but I will say on here, which is actually a secret currently, nobody actually knows like all of this, you can technically take between 2 to 4 crew members with you. But it does depend on certain earlier choices. So it does vary, like I said, between 2 to 4. You only have to do 1 to do this readathon. So I didn't have to do a second one, but I did. We have now finished that. So I'm gonna say no, I'm ready to go. Presley will be having some ambient background noises, but it says, okay, your team is going to meet you in the transporter room. You don't want to be late, although you're not entirely sure there would be a consequence if you were. It is your first day after all. But you rush a bit as you walk down the corridor anyway, and end up being the first in the room. You hear the door slide open and look to see who has arrived. Mr. Spock walks in, his hands behind his back. He looks at you with an analytical eye, quirks one eyebrow, and simply says, fascinating. Chekhov enters, and you knew that he was the youngest senior crew member, but you didn't realize that he was going to look too young to drink. He sidles up to you. Did you know that the first transporters were invented in Russia? Shaking your head, you wonder if that is actually true. It's not. He just thinks everything was invented in Russia. Uh-oh. After the officers have gathered around you, you notice a few more people dressed in security and science uniforms. It appears they're going to be rounding out your party. The whole team is here. The mission is simple. The landing party will be going down to the surface of the planet. Since it is a Class M planet, it is suitable for humanoid life and no extra suits are needed. Your goal is to observe and collect samples. Simple enough, right? Now get ready to beam down. You and your crew members walk onto the transportation pad. This is going to be your first time transporting. You try not to fidget as you make sure your feet are placed squarely in the center of the glowing circle. You hear one of the senior crew members speak from behind you. Ready? Energize. You feel a slight tingling sensation as small blinking lights fill your vision. 1 second you're looking at the transporter room. The next second you are standing in a grassy clearing on the planet. Look around. Looking around, you're amazed at how much a different planet outside of your solar system can remind you of Earth. To your left is a body of water. It's blue and looks so peaceful. To your right are trees. The leaves don't look like any that you've seen before, but they're green. You take in a deep breath. The air smells sweet after breathing in the recycled air from the Enterprise. There's just something about being planet-side that you were excited about. Time to split up. Okay, enough dawdling. It's time to get to work. Before the science team divides up the jobs, the security team sets up a perimeter. You see them spread out around the group from the trees to the lake. Some of the science team are going to be using their tricorders to examine and record the flora of the planet. You make sure your tricorder is on and head over to the trees. You notice that others of the science team have also set their tricorders to search for nearby fauna. Another of the science team walks over to the lake. Could the water possibly have native animals in it? Continue. You notice that the trees didn't look quite right when you first beamed down to the planet, but the differences are more noticeable when you're up close. The leaves are green, but the ones on the plant you are currently examining look like a mosaic. It appears that one big leaf is actually made up of smaller segments. Also, the tricorder says that the makeup of them is not one that you've seen before. You take a sample of the leaf for more in-depth study later. You also marvel at the fact that the leaf was hot to the touch. Rustle, rustle. The rustle in the bushes behind the trees you're near is loud. The entire landing party freezes. Could this be intelligent life on the planet? Investigate. Which alien do you see? So now, we have 7 different aliens here. We have Gorn, Horda, Miri, Neural Parasite, Orion, Salt Vampire, and Tribble. I tried to pick aliens that were pretty iconic for the original series Star Trek specifically because that's basically the only one I've actually seen, along with all the movies that go with the original Star Trek. So that's what I went for. Now, I do know that some people have been picking Tribble. I think a couple people have picked Salt Vampire and Horda. And so I was curious earlier about like who had picked what. I put a little poll up on Discord. I didn't have a ton of people answer it, but those are the aliens that people have picked. So, I know what these prompts are, so I don't want to think about it as like, what do I want to pick, like for a prompt. But this one is less of like, what would I want to encounter? Because like, if you were really in Star Trek on an away mission, it would be random. Like you don't know. Ooh. It would be random. I should do a random number generator. That would take out all of the things I know about this. Let's see. I'm gonna Google a random number generator. And we're gonna put it in from 1 to 7 because that's how many prompts we have. I'm nervous because I'm sure that there's probably ones that I don't want to do more than there are ones that I do want to do. We're going to do it. We're going to generate 2. Which one is 2? Why am I going out? Which one is 2? Horda. I do like the Horda. The Horda is one of my favorite, like, iconic aliens in the original series. Okay. Random number generator has chosen for us. We are going to go Horda. Here's what the Horda is. And again, this is similar to like your science division and the crew members. You could actually look at what everything is about and get a hint for the prompt before you decide if you actually want that. Again, every single one here has a hint of what the prompt should be. But so the Horda, it looks like a rock. Is there more to it than what it appears to be? Do you see a Horda? We're gonna say yes because of the fact that like random number generator is choosing for us. Yes, get prompt. Read a book with a non-human character. Now this does not have to be a main character, just any sort of non-human character. I would also say things like fae and that kind of stuff are non-human. So we could do with that. But that means, because I did not plan this out ahead of time, I do now need to figure out what I'm gonna read. Non-human character. I do have stuff. I'm pretty sure I have stuff. I mean, I could technically just read another Ice Planet Barbarians book. I could. I don't think I'm going to. Okay. Yeah. Non-human character. So I will figure that out and I will come back and let you know what I'm going to pick. Hello and happy Saturday. So I'm actually getting ready to jump into reading sprints soon. And I didn't sort of tell you what I was planning on doing last night, but what I did do is pick 4 books, all with non-human characters in it somewhere, and I'm letting people vote on an Instagram story poll, and then that way I will see what people pick. I have not checked it yet. I'm actually going to do that on the live stream just because I think that'd be fun, but we have Something from the Night Side by Simon R. Green, Secret Vampire by L.J. Smith, Night Shifted by Cassie Alexander, and The Price of the Phoenix, which is by Sandra Marshak and Myrna Colbreth. This one is a Star Trek book because there are so many different species of aliens and stuff in Star Trek, and I was like, you know what? I probably should pick a Star Trek book since it's the Star Trek Choose Your Own Adventure readathon. So we'll see what people pick though. So I did my alien prompt, or I got to my alien prompt last night. And like I said before, I did this, so I know what all the prompts are, and I originally was going to just try and pick an alien that was, like, nobody was really picking. But when I put the poll up in the Discord yesterday, I didn't really have too many people picking things on there, and so I was like, I really don't know where everybody's standing. So I did a random number generator, and it gave me the Horda. So I posted a poll on Instagram with 4 different books that have non-human characters, and I have not checked it to see which I'm supposed to be reading, which is what I was trying to look up earlier. Okay, they have said Secret Vampire by L.J. Smith, which is this one here, a nice old cover. This is like from the 1990s.
Oh, you gotta love those covers.
I do, actually. I bought the whole series in these covers off of, I think, eBay or something, just because of the fact that I love the covers. I've never read the series. It's never going to be finished. Apparently she never finished it.
Bummer.
Yeah, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, so reading sprints are done. That was actually a really, really fun time. First time I've actually done reading sprints specifically on my channel. And I had Miro and Heather join. I will actually leave their stuff linked down below, as well as the link to the reading sprints in case you want to join in after the fact. I did think we had some good conversations, as well as reading books. So I did start Secret Vampire, which is the one that people chose for me on Instagram, and I'm 68 pages of the way through because it is, you know, mass market, pretty quick to read. It was published in 1996, so one thing that I thought was funny, and I did mention during the live stream, is that you can tell based on the fact that one of the characters has to dial up to get to the internet. I just thought that was really, really funny. I remember having to do that when I was younger, but really it's about a girl named Poppy who ends up getting sick, has a diagnosis of stage 3 pancreatic cancer and is basically destined to die because it has very, very low percentages of people that survive. And her best friend turns out to be a vampire and is basically coming up to her currently as like, hey, I'm a vampire and I can save you. Let's turn you into a vampire. That's all I know so far. It's not bad. Like I said before, it's reading really, really quickly. And so I definitely think this is something that we can finish today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I don't think I'm necessarily gonna finish this all today. But yeah, that's what we're reading. This is, like I said before, for the Horda prompt with a non-human character. Your non-human character doesn't have to be the main character, and I do think vampires count. There's also been, I think, 1 werewolf show up so far, so yeah. We taught him that sharks say dun dun, but it has been sort of abbreviated by him to DD. Close enough. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. The lighting here, not the best today. I feel like we look very orange, but it is like 8:30, a little bit earlier than I would ever normally film over here because of the way the light is. But I have finished my last book for the readathon, which was Secret Vampire by L.J. Smith. So this one was for the Horda, so a non-human character. Like I mentioned a little bit yesterday, we do have vampires, and there are werewolves and witches. I would consider witches human characters because usually it's humans with magic, but I do feel like vampires and werewolves are enough removed from humans that it does count for a non-human character. And this is a very quick read. It's a mass market. The font size is actually pretty good because this was like from 1996, and it's short, like 220 something pages. So I started it yesterday during the reading sprints and I finished it last night. This is another one that I wasn't entirely sure what I should rate it. I think I ended up giving it like a 4 stars on Goodreads because for the time period and stuff like that, like I didn't dislike it, and I liked it a little bit more than I would normally give a 3 star, so it's probably more of like a 3.5, and I will, you know, quantify that on Goodreads when I go in there and like write a review and stuff. But I think it's somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4 because it's nowhere bad. I did think it started off interesting. Like I was interested in the topic of like our main character of Poppy having a terminal illness and being, you know, given the opportunity to become a vampire to survive that. Like it sounded pretty cool. The only thing about this book is that it doesn't have like a strong plot outside of that fact. They tried to throw in some plot stuff and some like more action-y type of stuff near the end, but it was within the last 40 pages at the most, and so it just didn't really feel like it was needed. But it also was one of those things that I sort of wish would have happened a little earlier. Like the beginning of the book would have started a little quicker to get to that. But like I said, it was published in 1996. It is short. I guess it makes sense. I know this is a series that a lot of people have nostalgia for. I never read it like when it first came out, but I do absolutely love these covers. Like I actually bought the entire series, which is like 8 or 9 books, and then it's not finished. It'll probably never be finished. I know people have been waiting like over 15 years or something for the next book to be published, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I do know what I'm getting myself into with this, but for what it was, a very, very quick read. It was pretty enjoyable. So yeah, it's between a 3.5 and a 4. I don't fully know, but that's what we're going with. And then because we finished that, we can now finish our adventure. So let me pull this up. Okay, so read a book with a non-human character. We did do that. So once your book is finished, click here. You slowly edge closer to the bushes. You hear the rustling getting louder. It sounds closer to the ground. You pause when you get within striking distance of the bush. Out hops a small rabbit-like creature. It has 4 long ears sticking straight up and a prehensile tail similar to a primate. It sniffs the air a couple of times, looks you over, and hops off using its tail to move branches out of its way. As it leaves, you let out a breath you didn't know you were holding and look through the bushes the way the animal had come. A dark cave sits in the shadow of the trees. You're pretty sure you would not have seen it if not for the alien Rabkey moving bushes and branches out of its way as it was coming towards you. Let's explore the cave. You tell the rest of the away team about the cave, and it is determined that a group of about half of the party will go into the tunnels. Spock will be leading the group. After the people divide themselves up into who is going and who is staying, you all start to walk into the cave. There is a large tunnel at the back that you follow. You're quickly losing the light from the cave, and you pull out a flashlight. You notice others do the same as you travel further down. There are a few branching tunnels, but you all decide to follow the largest one, which is still winding through the mountain in the same direction. Is that a room up ahead? After what feels like almost an hour of walking in one tunnel, it opens up into a large room. You don't think it looks much different from Earth caves, except for the hundreds of perfectly spherical stones. The purple pearlescent stones are piled up throughout the room. You use your tricorder and discover their composition to be silicon. You relay this information to Spock. Fascinating. You decide that a sphere should be beamed up to the ship for study. You know you won't be able to get a transporter signal down here, so you pick up a sphere and pass it off to a security team member, a man called Richards. Then you instruct them to carry it back toward the surface to be beamed up. After only a couple of minutes, you hear a scream reverberate down the tunnel. It has to be the security officer. Investigate. You run back towards where the security officer had gone, but when you get to the scene, no other creature can be found. In the middle of the floor appears to be what's left of Richards. He is completely burned to a crisp. There is a big burned circle in the stone floor, and all that is left looks to be teeth and bones surrounded by ash. You take out your tricorder and take a reading of the spot. That's Richards all right, you sigh. Still looking at your tricorder, you become confused. I have what appears to be a large deposit of silicon moving that way, you say, pointing to a tunnel off to the left. You didn't notice it when you came in, and you know silicon doesn't just move by itself. What should you do? So we have two options. We can go back and get Spock, since he is the senior science officer, or we can go into the new tunnel. Now, as I mentioned, I believe at the beginning of this video, if not at least in the announcement video and that kind of stuff, we do have multiple endings here. We actually have 21 different endings because we have 7 different aliens, and each alien has 3 different endings. We have a special ending, a good ending, and a bad ending. And the thing is, you can only get a good or a bad ending. You're not going to get both of those. And then you only get a special ending if you take the correct crew member with you for the alien that you see. Now, some of these aliens I try to pair with a crew member that are like the main crew member from the episode they are in, or they're the ones that I thought would work the best with the specific alien. So for this one, it actually worked out pretty perfectly because I took Spock with us. And so Spock is the crew member to get the special ending. And I think because of that, I did a random number generator for the alien. This was not something I planned out. We are going to go and get Spock and get the special ending. You turn around to find Spock and see that he has already arrived at the scene. You explain to him what you have found and what the tricorder is saying. You see one of Spock's eyebrows raise in question. I wonder. Life as we know it is based on carbon compounds, but what if there could be life based on silicon? Spock takes his tricorder out and sets it to register for silicon. He instructs all others to do the same. Spock tracks the moving silicon and sees that it is moving back to the first room with the spheres. You all go back to that room. When you enter the room, you hear a grating noise pulsating from the far end. It's coming, Spock states. He puts his tricorder away and instructs everyone with a phaser to be prepared. Set phasers to stun. The grating noise gets louder, and you see a perfect sphere melting from the wall. Out of that sphere comes a big and shaggy creature. It looks like rock with red and orange fissures in it. It comes closer slowly. Spock puts out his hands in front of him. We mean you no harm. He takes a step closer. The alien doesn't move. I have a way of communicating that the others with me do not. Will you allow me to mind meld with you? This way we can talk person to person. When the creature does not move away, Spock steps closer and hovers his hands over the alien. He closes his eyes and communicates. Continue. No kill. Offspring. Hatching. You only catch a few of the words that Spock says in the middle of the mind meld, and sooner rather than later, it is over. Spock comes out of the mind meld and explains that this alien is a Horda. It has lived here for thousands and thousands of years. They have very long lifespans, and there are usually thousands of them. But every 50,000 years, they go virtually extinct, leaving one mother to guard the eggs. By taking one of the eggs to be examined, we not only encroached on her territory, but we were stealing her young. Spock mind melds with her again, and then instructs everyone to return to the surface so that they can be beamed back up to the ship. beam me up. Back on the Enterprise, Spock has Uhura relay a message to Starfleet Command. This planet is inhabited by the Horta. They are a silicon-based life form. This planet should be cordoned off based on the Prime Directive so that they can continue their existence in peace. Continue. You have reached the end of your journey. Your ending is 2A. Please keep a record of this as you will need it for the Google form. The end. So the Google form is the form that people use to say that they finished this in order to be eligible for the prizes. Actually, this video should be going up on Tuesday. I think before I mentioned that the giveaway thing would be over. It's over at the end of Tuesday night, like at the very end of everybody's time zones. So Presley's making a mess over there with my TBR stuff. But what this means is that if you are currently doing this readathon, and you have not turned in your paper yet, go turn in your paper on Google Forms so that you are eligible for that. You have until the end of Tuesday, which is the first day this is going up, to finish filling that out. So definitely go and do that if you have not already. And that is the end of this journey. We got to 2A. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this in general. It's my first time doing any sort of like actual writing, dialogue, all this kind of stuff that people are seeing. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. It was a lot of work because of how much, like, variety and stuff that there was. I'm doing this all on Inklewriter, and you guys didn't really get to see any of the background stuff, but the background, I did take a picture and post it on my Instagram. Here's, like, part of the map. This is like the character crew member prompt area. I took out all the actual prompts from that area, so there are no spoilers on here, but as you can see, some of these map parts got very, very large, and there were lots of connections back and forth, and then as we got further into the story to the endings, we ended up having, you know, 3 branches for the different endings. But yeah, I had a really fun time doing this. I know some other people have said, even if they didn't know Star Trek, they really enjoyed finding out about some of this stuff. They didn't feel like they had to know things going in, and that was my whole goal. I didn't want to have people have to know things to go in. I am hoping to do another round of the Choose Your Own Adventure Readathon around February or March, so keep an eye out for that. It will be a completely different theme. There actually is a section in the Discord where you can suggest themes. I have one theme that I actually thought of before this started that I just think I could do very well now that I know the mechanics of Inklewriter, but some other people have stated some other themes that sound amazing as well. I know Lord of the Rings has been mentioned because that was another one that I was thinking of. I think superhero type of stuff was mentioned. Some more contemporary types of stories were mentioned. He's giving me my TBR bucket stuff, which actually my next video coming up will be my TBR for September, so I guess this is not too crazy to do, but not this time. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. Like I said, I'll probably have another one coming up around February or March. And yeah, I think, thank you, another one. Perfect. I think that will be it then for me today. I hope you guys liked this vlog. I hope you guys liked this readathon. If you did, give it a thumbs up just to let me know. Otherwise, you can also leave comments down below on different themes that you would like to see if you're not in the Discord or anything like that. Any comments about the readathon, anything that you either think could be improved upon or that you really, really liked and would like to see again, that kind of stuff. And that's it. I do have videos up Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!